The president of Jackson College, Dr. Dan Phelan. Hi, Dan.
Hi, Bart. How are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Welcome back.
Yeah, it's nice to be back in 3D, right?
Yeah, and nice to be back. You've got the campus back to before times.
Yes, completely open status. So we're open for anyone to come in through any entrance, and there are no testing requirements. We do have a sign up at the front though that says, if you have any one of these symptoms, don't come to campus. Just whether it's the flu or the cold or whatever you have, just stay home, and we'll continue to remain open.
Yeah, well, we were aware of the early actions the college took in the beginning of the pandemic.
Yes.
So I think we appreciate that your decision is based on science as to reopening. You feel pretty comfortable about it.
Yes, we do, and of course at the front of all of this is about the safety of our employees and safety of students and any guests who come there. So in our work with our reintegration task force, we made sure that safety was front and center and that it was not about guessing or anything else. We wanted to be informed by science and by data, and we used the best sources that we had available. We also used a committee to be able to help guide this. So one of our faculty members who you've had on the show many times, continue to be a strong voice in our work in helping to guide us, as well as federal and state levels as well. And we just kind of collapsed all that information and made what we thought were the appropriate decisions to keep everyone safe. And I think that the data over time at our institution would prove out that we made the right kinds of decisions. And so infection rates were very, very low, and we kept everybody safe.
And just in time too for the commencement, which
Yes.
was for the first time you were able to have restrictions lifted. In fact, you had it outdoors.
We did, and you'll recall that a year ago, you folks were out there, we had, for the first time, graduation outside. We celebrated the class of 2020 and 2021, and we had it on the front porch, literally, of Burt Walker Hall, and that went so well that all of our folks in student services said, let's do that again. And so I think we're just going to continue to have it outside. It's not quite the big house. It's more like a parking lot experience with an elevated stage, but it worked well. And students, for the first time, really can have all their family and friends, where before, to get everybody in the Potter Center and into Sheffer Music Hall, we had to restrict the number of guests that they could bring. So now you can bring one, bring all, and we've got room for everybody.
Yeah, I noticed. It looked like you had huge attendance, and I think it's because you were able to open it to all. But it looks like Walker Hall, what a great natural stage. It's almost as if it was designed for something like
No,
this.
you would think somebody thought ahead about that.
Yeah.
So we actually included lots of banners, which you see on the images right there. So for each of the pathways, academic pathways at our institution are there, as well as the great seal of the college. And of course, all of our faculty and staff, administration, board of trustees are up there. So yeah, we just had a great experience. It was a little bit cooler than we wanted, and it was threatening rain a little bit. Every once in a while you'd get a little spitting now and then, but thankfully it held off to the very, very end.
I was talking to one of the faculty members who said for the first time they were very excited that they were in the robes for this event.
Yes, it was a little cool. So, but it was a great experience for everyone, and we had it really framed nicely. We had tents along the back of the parking lot. When people came, the event started at 11 o'clock on the 30th. And because it was early and people actually were showing up at 10 o'clock, we had hors d'oeuvres in the back, and then afterwards we had cake and punch for everybody. So it was a nice event, and as you can see right there, we had the popcorn cart out there as well. So even for little kids, they could get some popcorn and just really have a nice experience overall for the entire family.
Awesome. And the Board of Trustees has a new face on board. It's
Yes.
Chris Simpson.
Yes, Under Sheriff Chris Simpson. There's an image of him being sworn in by our relatively new chairman, John Christ, and we're very excited about that. Trustee Simpson is completing the unexpired term of Dr. Ed Mantine, who has served with distinction for 24 years. In fact, last night the Board of Trustees and I celebrated him and his service to Jackson College, our community, and our students. And it was just a nice opportunity to lift a gentleman up who's been so wonderful to our institution. And so he decided to retire, and of course the Board of Trustees in April were considering candidates, a whole bevy of candidates, and wanted to make sure that we had someone we could bring into our institution and represented the broader community. And I think the board made an outstanding choice with Under Sheriff Simpson, and he brings a lot of talent and knowledge and ability and experience, and as an alum, that's even better. So
Yeah.
that's nice.
In fact, every single member of the board is an alum.
That is correct. That is correct. So it continues that trend. We've had it for quite a few years now, and so although not a requirement, it's an added bonus in my view that they have a perspective of a former student, what it was before, what it is now. And also each of the members of the board have a particular focus on understanding what the community wants as a policy governance institution. The board is really committed to understanding what the community leadership and just the average person in our community is wanting. And a couple of our board members continue to go out and are having regular sessions of gathering information about the kind of institution that our community would like. What should we look like in the next 10 years? What would our community look like if Jackson College wouldn't be here? What would be missing? And so we're really trying to get a sense of how best to position the college strategically over the next 10 years. And both Chairman Christ and Trustee Lake have been doing a lot of that work with various groups, leadership groups in our community and other organizations as well. And then after we get this round done, we'll wait a little while and then we'll probably do some broad surveying of just the general community as well. Again, always looking how best to position our institution, not for today, but for 10 years out, so that they can prescribe to me through policy how best to position the institution to make sure that we continue to be not only surviving but thriving and very relevant to a current and emerging community.
And it looks like one of those ways is to do outreach outside of Jackson County and become
Yes.
more of a regional higher education institution. Changing the name from Jackson Community College, I know that was one of the first
Yes.
steps, but it's paid off, hasn't it?
It has, and I think that, you know, it actually, to be honest, it continues. Community colleges tend to be looked at pejoratively as being less than junior college in some cases. But by far and away, I think if you would talk to any of alums from Jackson College, they would realize that they have a phenomenal experience, that they go on to be very successful. In fact, look at our Board of Trustees, as you mentioned, all alums, all very, very successful. And so the decision of the board to change our name, I think, was the right one. It also makes sure that we are a position that can welcome international students as well. In other countries, community college or even junior college is looked at as being a less than institution from their perspective. In fact, it's seen as being an institution that is focused on developmental education. And that's not what we're wanting to communicate broadly. So, you know, when we dealt with COVID, we realized that there were a lot of things that needed to change, and there are some things that we're going to continue to bring forward. And one is a recognition that as a community college that we're still chartered as, even though we offer some baccalaureate degrees, there still is a big market out there that is wanting higher education. They want it affordably and they want it at a high quality level, and we think Jackson College fills that bill. And so insofar as so many students are participating online, they could virtually be from anywhere. In fact, we have students who are in many of our allied health programs, and we're coordinating with clinicals that are all over the country. So we could have someone who is doing diagnostic medical sonography at Jackson College, and then they are looking for a clinical placement, and they might be out at Washington State, and then we work with preceptors out in that state to make sure that they carry out our curriculum, that they're educated with the proper credentials and have done this kind of work before. So we have lots of experience both with reaching out beyond the confines of Jackson County, internationally as well as within the continental United States.
Yeah, in fact, recently you did your Health Sciences did a Facebook Live event that streamed around the world and got a lot of response. You
know, I would say that higher education now is largely, not only is it ubiquitous, but it is also very leveling. I guess I would say it's commoditized. So gone are the ideas, you know, that you really have to go to a physical place. I can stay in my own home or be wherever, and I can take classes from Harvard University or Jackson College or University of Miami at Ohio, or I mean, you can go anywhere. So it really puts the power in the hands of the students to say, you know, what is distinctive about this institution? What will it cost me to go there? What will this education get me after I get a degree from that institution? An overall value proposition for the student. And realizing that, you know, students are going to keep coming back and back and forth because industry is changing all the time, and the nature of what education is changing all the time. So we want to continue to be relevant. We want to show our distinctiveness in what I call a sea of sameness, because COVID put us all out there on equal footing. And so our board and our leadership team at the college is really looking at how best to position Jackson College not only for our community in making sure that we're addressing all of the current and growing needs and future needs, but also students who may not be living in the town. They may be a community away, a county away, a state away, a country away. And to the degree that we want to provide high quality education, we want to make sure that we're prepared to do that work.
Yes, and summer registration continues right now.
Yes.
It's not too late to get in.
In fact, we've already started our 12-week semester term. We actually have enrollment for 7-week terms starting on June 6th. We've got 5-week terms starting in July. And I would also mention to your viewers that fall enrollment is open as well. That starts on August 29th. So we're excited about having everyone back, and you can come on campus without restriction. And also our housing is completely open. So during COVID, we were pretty low in enrollment. We were about 25% of total capacity. And so all of that is opened up now. So we welcome everyone to come on campus and either be a student resident or be a commuting student and enroll in as many classes as you want. And also recognizing that online continues to be a challenge for students, we established a program called ALIP, or the Academic Laptop Incentive Program. So if a student takes at least 2 classes a semester, we provide them a laptop. And as long as they stay with Jackson College and take 2 classes a semester and complete the degree, they will actually get that laptop at the very end. And part of the design is not only access to information in the superhighway, but it's also been proven through research that if a student takes at least 2 classes a semester over 15 weeks, that the probability of them persisting from semester to semester and completing is a lot higher. And so we're hoping that that kind of incentive helps students as well.
Awesome. Great to see you. Thanks for all the updates.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
And thanks for the mug.
You're most welcome.
Jackson College President, Dr. Dan Phelan. Next, we're going to early elementary education.